Alrighty. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. Just getting some things situated. Look like I got everything actually working as intended. Alrighty. Go ahead and move everything over. Alrighty. How's everybody doing today? Everybody doing this fine Friday. I know I'm live a lot earlier than expected. That's because I actually don't have work today. Or I didn't have work today. So I decided to go live a little bit earlier today. So, a lot of you may know that I play tabletop RPGs. And a lot of them end up being what many would probably consider... Some of them are probably considered very niche builds or anything like that. Because sometimes... when I build characters, I tend to build characters that are extremely strong in one particular area. So there is that. So I've got a very good idea of how to build characters in a very specific way, in a very specific mindset. Now, would that be considered min-maxing? Probably. Taking the optimal choices, making optimal plays, doing all that sort of stuff is kind of what I have done in a sense, in a lot of different ways. There's always... Oop, wrong button. There we go. There's always a few things that I have done, and that was mainly just so that I could get some things done and not have to, like, worry about stuff. It's like I also have a lot of character ideas and a lot of all that other stuff that, I just haven't really been able to kind of play. Some characters' ideas I haven't played before or want to play, but they require very specific campaigns to really run them in. There's a lot of characters that I've had ideas for, and they're not very high on the list on what they can and can't do. Oh, I just realized that that's not up. And I just realized that, okay, so that's working as intended again. It's my fault. Not checking to make sure that was working. But yeah. So yeah, I've built characters. I have a lot of characters and ideas and all that other stuff, but I'm not 100% certain what the maximum, like for 5e, there is effectively one maximum for all characters at level 1. In Pathfinder, first edition specifically, I think in Pathfinder second edition, there's also a cap on what your maximum can be. I think the cap's like, I think it's +4, plus proficiency +10. I think at first level it's 15, no, 16. Might be 17 or 18, something like that. I believe in 5th edition, the maximum is 10. It's 8 plus 2. 8 plus proficiency, so 8 plus 2 plus 3, so 13. The maximum is 13 for saves. So technically, if you want higher saves, you go to 2nd edition. But if you want even higher saves and you want to hyper specialize, you can easily go back to 3.5 or 1st edition, where your starting stat can be 20, so meaning you get a +5, and then 10 plus 5 plus spell level. That's actually how it was used to be calculated. It was based off of spell level. Now, I will say this: 5th edition and in a sense Pathfinder 2nd edition did do this right, where the saves for all spells are equal, so you don't have to use a higher level spell in order to increase the DC of the spell slot. So the spell slots aren't designated as their highest level. But by default, in Pathfinder 1st edition and to 3.5, and I think even in like 3.0 2nd edition and 1st edition, spell slots are how your DCs are. Like, higher level spells should be harder to resist, is kind of, I think, how what the philosophy was back then. Like, it should be harder to resist Meteor Swarm versus Fireball. That kind of thing. And it is. I mean, technically it is harder to resist a fireball than it is to resist it's harder to save against a fireball than it is to save against a meteor swarm. Those are just spells that happen to do that. But there are ways to min-max characters in Pathfinder 1st Edition that not a lot of people know about. But I'm just going to go with I'm going to talk about this for a little bit, and I'm going to kind of throw a build together and have that build kind of do something. I'm not 100% certain what just yet. Let me just do one thing real quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some things real quick just to make sure that I've got everything. So there's also a thing in Pathfinder 1st Edition. Okay, let me go ahead and Okay, so we're going to do this in Foundry because Foundry is just an easy program for me to use. No, I did not give away where my IP address is. Screw everybody. That's the throwback IP address. If you didn't know what that was, then can't help you. But we'll also have Archives of Nethys here to help us out a little bit. I will probably be using only stuff that is available through what's known as Society Play, which is why we use Archives of Nethys, because Archives of Nethys will tell you exactly what's PFS legal. We will also include races and such, core races, which if they have this symbol, that means they are PFS legal. We will also be using any race that has this symbol, which just means it is technically limited for play. So we will use those as well. And there's not a lot of races, so there's actually a lot of races in here that we can't play as. So we're just going to go with that. So those are just the rules and stipulations. That includes anything in feats. There are some feats that are available. There are some feats that are not available, and we will be taking no feats that are not available to us. Mainly because I don't feel like trying to figure out how to get things going, and we're also going to do no third-party stuff. So there will be no third-party crafting, anything like that. We're just going to be using what's available to us, mechanic-wise. Do note that there is some lore stuff in here, but none of that stuff. So we're also going to make some very basic stipulations. We are going to be using a 20-point buy, which is considered high fantasy. That's also default in Pathfinder Society. So we're just going to go ahead and use that because I enjoy trying to keep things simple. And 20 is usually a good standard for most campaigns. There are some campaigns that will probably go up to 25. There are some campaigns that will go as low as 15. I don't think I've ever seen a campaign go to 10. And in my honest opinion, you really can't make a character at 10. At least make a character that feels like a hero in 10. 10 or 15 is kind of like, I would say it's probably more closer to what the power level of a standard commoner is in like Warhammer Fantasy. But high fantasy and epic fantasy are like your main characters. And generally PCs are main characters. So there is that. And this is how we're going to do this. Usually we wouldn't build stats first. Usually I would pick a class and then build the stats around that. So we will go to that. We will be building a class. We will not be using any of the normal classes. We will be only using Unchained unless there is a specific archetype or something like that, which there's a lot of classes here. Like, these are all the classes that are available, and all of them do something slightly different. Some of these are actually known as hybrid classes. They're like two classes combined. The easiest one for me to look at is Blood Rager, which is a combination between Sorcerer and Barbarian. Brawler is a good one too. It's Fighter and Monk. But many of these classes have like a way of playing that is different from all the other classes. No class is usually going to play the same. There are some classes that will, like Wizard and Sorcerer play roughly the same. Cleric and Oracle play roughly the same. And every class can be built in different ways. Every martial class can technically do a ranged build. Barbarian's actually more closely revolved around doing thrown weapons. Is probably the best thrown weapon build outside of Fighter. Fighters are the best martials in the game, but to the extent of you want to use a weapon really good, you pick Fighter. I will not be using any other third-party stuff, but yeah. So what am I talking about? Like how DCs get stupidly high even at first level. So there are ways to do that. There are feats that do it. I keep pulling up the wrong thing because I'm used to pulling. You know, we're going to put this over here. We're gonna take this and we're gonna put this over here so I can stop touching it. Stop touching it. And I touched that by accident. Let me close that one just in case. So, we're actually going to make a Sorcerer for this because it's just going to be easier for me to use Sorcerer because Sorcerer gives us the highest bonus for very specific things. So, we're going to min-max this character. I want this character to be really good at enchantment spells. Okay, so first we need to pick a class. So, we're going to go ahead and pick a class. Let's go ahead and pick a class so that we know what our stats are. We're going to pick Sorcerer. Sorcerer, we're going to use hit point for all of these because, well, actually, we're going to take alternate. We'll do that, actually. We'll do that. You'll see why here in a moment. So we'll pick alternate. We get six. I think I have this set to do maximum hit points right now. Let me change that to be what normal gameplay would be. Your health. Let's say 50%. Okay. Save changes. Alrighty. So, there's that. So we have a class. We're going to pick a race now. Now, normally a lot of people will say, go pick human. It's the best race in the entire game. I'm actually not going to say that. I'm going to say you're going to pick Kitsune, which is available. And over here, we're going to go to races, and I'm just going to show you. Kitsune was available to players. You did need a sheet in order to do it before 2014. But, okay, so technically now you could, after Season 6, you could play all Kitsunes. So Kitsunes are now fully available to everybody. I think you still need the book in order to play them, but I'm not 100% certain. So where's Kitsune? Kitsune! Which, in Pathfinder, is technically known as the Foxfolk, more than Kitsune. They are not the, what people think they are. They are not the, my brain is not working. They're not the, like, anime-style Kitsune. They're more of a anthropomorphic fox that can turn into a human kind of style. So just a reminder for people who are wondering that. Now, the reason why we're picking Kitsune is because of this very specific feature right here. It's known as Kitsune Magic, which increases our enchantment spells by 1. Okay, that's fine. We wanted that. That's what we got. Let me just make sure that's actually in here. It is not. We are not going to be using any alternate racial traits. Is that a racial bonus? No, it's an untyped bonus. Do note, type bonuses do matter in this. So, DC is a 2 enchantment. So, we got an untyped bonus to enchantment. Usually you get a racial bonus. We get some good racial bonuses here. Dexterity, Charisma, and a -2 to Strength. We're never going to use Strength anyway, so it doesn't matter. So now, we're going to go ahead and do stats. Now, you may be wondering, does Sorcerer still use... Yes, Sorcerer still uses Charisma as their base. Like, I think Sorcerers have always used Charisma for their casting stat. I don't think that's ever changed. I think the only one that it's changed has been Paladin from Wisdom to Charisma. And mainly it was just because Paladins were already mad when it came to all this. They're going to go at 20.5. And as you can see, this isn't like a one-for-one situation. Stats can, when you're doing point buy, stats can go as low as 7 and as high as 18. So we're going to go to 18 because we're going to want 18. Do know we've already got 17 points here. We're going to need some other stats somewhere, so we're going to bump strength down to 7. Yes, that means that our strength will be down to 5. We will be very weak. We will not be able to carry a lot of stuff. And carry weight is actually important in Pathfinder 1st Edition. We're actually going to go ahead and bump up Dex. We're going to bump up Con, and we're going to bump up Wisdom. Actually, we're not going to bump up Wisdom. We're going to bump up Intelligence. Maybe. I don't know. The last few points can be kind of thrown around somewhere else or in some other locations. We could go with a 14 Dex, 10-10. I mean, that's not a bad strategy either. I mean, 12 and then 14 here is also not a bad idea. Having a few more hit points never hurts. I mean, having 8 hit points is never a bad idea, especially at level 1. But we're not done. So we do get a feat. We're not going to worry about a feat right now. We're going to go ahead and worry about something known as the Sorcerer Bloodline, which, if you played the original Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, Sorcerer's got a bloodline. Now, in original 3.5 and 3.0, sorcerers did not have a bloodline. Sorcerers were just charisma-based casters that could spontaneously cast their spells and could get a familiar. And that was it. They were literally just wizards that had a crappier spellbook. Effectively had a crappier spellbook. Because they only had 4 spells known and plus 2 spells. But they could cast their spells like 3 to 4 times, like four times a day, compared to the wizard who can only cast their spell once per day. So it was like that trade-off and all that. But the wizard had the better versatility. The sorcerer had the better staying power, as I like to say. They could cast more spells at a time. Technically, we got some other features that I really not care about. Like, we got dancing lights and all that stuff, but we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go ahead and look at some of the sorcerer bloodlines. So, we want enchantment spells to be really good. There are a couple of bloodlines that are really good for enchantment spells. There are 3 specifically. So we're going to go to sorcerer, and we're going to go to bloodlines. So, we're going to look at arcane, because that's a really good one. And I think the only other ones we're going to look at are going to be Fey. And the last one we're going to look at is Infernal. Now, you may be wondering, okay, Brave, why are we looking at 3 completely separate bloodlines that seem to have no relation to each other? And I don't think there's any more that have enchantment. If there are, I haven't looked at all these lists in a while, so excuse me if anything's bad. Okay, so Arcana. First level. When we apply a meta magic feat, our DC goes up by 1. This does not stack with something like Heightened Spell. Heightened Spell is a very specific feat. It instead changes the thing. And if you're wondering, wait, sorcerers don't get access to mana magic? Oh, yes, they do. Technically, all spellcasters get access to mana magic. It's just that instead of costing sorcery points, it costs a higher level spell slot. So a sorcerer could quicken a spell, but it costs 4 extra spell slots. Like, you could quicken a cantrip, but it's a 4th level spell now. Or a 1st level spell is a 5th level spell, and you can do it up to 5th level to where it's a 9th level spell. Heightened is usually just equal to the DC of the spell level that you're putting it in. There's reach, which increases the range as long as it's not personal. There's quicken also doesn't work on anything that's more than a full round action. And there are spells that are more than a full round action in order to cast. You may be wondering, what's a full round action? Full round action is it takes your standard and your movement. Also, order of operations is important in 1st edition, always has been. But this could help us, in a sense. We also get Arcane Bond, which many people would say is the most powerful ability in the entire game due to wizards automatically get it at level 1. This is how a sorcerer would get access to it. Many people would say the familiar and the bonded item are kind of equal. Bond item allows us to cast another spell once per day. We really don't need extra castings of spells once per day, but that's this. So, okay, so why are we even looking at this? Well, that's because at 15th level, they get a +2 to a DC to a School of Magic, which is really good. We could technically hold off on this and just say, okay, that's decent. That's a good idea. Maybe we could actually do that at some point. How do we do this? It's hard. It really is. So yeah, so that's the hard one to kind of decide. There are some good abilities here, like Meta Magic Adept allows us to cast a Meta Magic feat without increasing the casting time, which for spontaneous casters, it increases any time you wish to use a Meta Magic feat, it increases the casting time to a full round action. So this is actually really good. It can only be used like up to 5 times per day, but this is a 3rd level ability. We're only looking at our 1st level abilities. Okay, so bonded item, really good. Allows us to cast another spell, or it gives us a familiar, which gives us a bonus to a certain skill. Or HP or other stuff. So, okay. So, why am I looking at the other ones? Well, let's look at Fey. So, Fey have a few things. Also, you do get a class skill, and technically Arcana gives you any knowledge. Fey does give you knowledge nature, so that's fine. Bloodline Arcana. When you cast a spell of the Compulsion subschool, increase the spell's DC by +2. Okay, now you may be wondering, are there any spells in the enchantment that are Compulsion, not in the enchantment subschool? I don't think so. I think all of them are in there. Let me just look for spells. So this also is helpful because we can actually do it to subschool and can go to Compulsion. There is a couple. There's Aid, but that's not even on the Sorcerer spell list, so it doesn't even matter. So we can just go ahead and also do this. We can do classes and sort it by Sorcerer. I think all of these are enchantment spells. Yeah, all of these are enchantment spells. Mind Swap may not. No, that's an enchantment spell. Yeah, all of these are enchantment spells. Enchantment has the compulsion. The compulsion set. So all of these spells get a +2 to their DC. If they require a DC. Not all of them do. A lot of them don't. But all of these spells get a +2 to their DC in order to do stuff. So we're actually going to go ahead and pick some spells real quick. We're going to go ahead and pick our only cantrip that is actually a compulsion spell, and it's Daze. This spell is okay at early levels. Later levels, you may want to get rid of it for another spell. That is up to you. It doesn't work on anything with more than 4 hit die. And it only works against humanoids, which isn't great. But usually you're going up against humanoids at first level. If not, then you're going up against like zombies and skeletons, and your GM or DM should tell you what you're going up against, because undead are immune to this specific. Come on. They're immune to this part right. They're immune to this part right here. If you're one, they're hang on. Let me go to a spell. Let me go to spells. Sorcerer. Daze. Undead are immune to this part right here. They're immune to mind-affecting effects. Which I can just go to the undead section, but just do note they're immune to the mind-affecting tag. There are a lot of spells that are considered mind-affecting, so you always have to be careful. Undead are just immune to those. Even intelligent undead are immune to those. There are also a lot of creatures that are immune to mind-affecting effects that aren't just undead. There's constructs, there's vermin. Actually, I think that's it. Plants. Plants are also immune to mind-affecting effects. But that's neither here nor there. So, Daze. Doesn't work works only against humanoids. Still a good spell. We have some other spells that we can cake, but we're going to go ahead and look at some first level spells. Some of these are really good. Sleep's a good one. Sleep doesn't have a very good option, though. It is a compulsion, but it does have a limit of 4 hit die. Unlike the usual, where you get to roll dice and you apply it to their hit points, and if it goes, it takes out the people with the fewest hit points first, and then goes up. This one actually affects hit dice. There are a lot of spells that affect hit dice in Pathfinder First Edition. And after a certain level, they're bad. Like, a lot of the hit dice spells are bad unless they do something, even if they have higher hit dice. Hit dice are a thing that is kind of a mechanic that I have been seeing to try to see how it changes, how Pathfinder functions. But it's neither here nor there. So sleep is a compulsion spell, so that's nice. So we can actually increase the detail. We can actually increase save DC of this by 2. We have to go in manually and change it. So, and we also can do that to Daze. So we can also do that to Daze. So those are some good spells. Now, technically, we probably would want to pick up a conjuration, a spell school conjuration spell, like Mage Armor. And unlike the usual, Mage Armor doesn't give you just a flat 13 plus dex. This just increases your AC by 4. That's it. But it also has the effect of, it also applies its armor bonus to incorporeal creatures. Which is important, because this is a force effect. All force effects work against incorporeal creatures. It does have a will negate spell harmless. No, it's harmless. So technically it's a conjuration creation spell. So yeah. So that's it. That's all we get. We do get Daze, and we can go ahead and just pick up some other cantrips. And I'll go ahead and show you something cantrips kind of suck in this game. We're going to pick up, out of all of the spells, if you're looking for a damage-dealing spell that's not like one of these, your damage-dealing spell, the only ones that deal damage are Acid, Jolt, and Ray of Frost. That's it. Now you may... Oh, there's also technically Disrupt Undead. Disrupt Undead. So you may be wondering, oh, Disrupt Undead, it does 1d6 points of damage to Undead. It only works against Undead. So, oh, it does 1d6 points of damage. Okay, so that's not too bad. Let's just look at Acid Splash. It does 1d3 points of damage. This is not a good... Cantrips are a last resort when you run out of spell slots and you're at higher levels. Ray of Frost also does 1d3 points of cold damage, and Jolt does 1d3 points of electricity damage. Now, Brave, you may be wondering, where's my fire damage? It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. There's no fire damage spell. There's no fire damage cantrip. There has been no fire damage cantrip that I know of in Pathfinder 1st Edition. There's electricity, there's coal, and there's acid. That's it. And all of them are different. This one's a conjuration spell. This is an evocation spell, and this is a transmutation spell. So they're all different when it comes to their types, and they're all ranged touch attacks. That just means that in this edition, you don't use your intelligence or charisma to your attacks. You have what's known as a base attack bonus, and you apply it to range, which is dexterity based. So that's what you do. That's just how you do it. We'll probably pick up like mending. We can do detect magic. If we need a damage dealing cantrip, we'll tick acid splash. It's usually the best option for 90% of campaigns, just because acid damage, on average, is the least resisted type in the game. And then you can just pick one that you want, like Mage Hand. Never know when you're going to need a good Mage Hand. There is some other good ones here, like there's Resistance, which is good. It does give you a +1 resistance bonus to your saves, but once you get cloak of resistance, it's not worth it. There's Touch of Fatigue. Not a great spell. Spellcasting's not free in melee. There's a chance of you getting smacked in the face and losing it. The DC is 15 on a concentration check, so it's not great to use. There's Breeze, which I think is still not a great thing. Bleed, if usually creatures can go unconscious, and bleed allows you to, but it only works against living creatures that have -1 or fewer hit points. It keeps them dying, so they continue to take 1 point, and they can stabilize later as normal. So, there's that. Dancing Lights is a good one if you absolutely need to. We actually don't need Dancing Lights because we're a Kitsune. Kitsune get Dancing Lights three times per day as a standard action. It does only last for a minute, which isn't great. It's always a toss-up. If you need a light spell, I would actually recommend Light over Dancing Lights. But if you really need a light spell, Dancing Lights can get you in the pinch. You can't technically make it permanent, but neither here nor there. Either of these two. Don't take both, unless you're a wizard, where a wizard gets all these spells except for the ones that are on his forbidden school list or opposition school list. Then you get both of them, but never take both of them at the same time. Either take Light or Dancing Lights. Usually I would say earlier on, Light is probably the better cantrip. Dancing Lights becomes better when you need to send a light source really far away. But Light does mean that you don't technically need to buy torches. Okay, Brave. Why did we do all this? Well, we did this so that we could do some things and just make sure that we have everything correctly. I think we do. Yeah, we do. So, I did forget that we only get 2 spells at first level. Anyway, there is a few things. So we still have a missing feat. There are a lot of feats that we can take, but the one feat we're going to look at is we're going to take Spell Focus. Spell Focus is honestly the Spell Focus, which we can pick a school of magic and it adds +1 to the DC. So we're going to do that. We're going to take that, and we're going to go ahead and just do Enchantment, because we're going to make our enchantment spells really good. We want our enchantment spells to be stupidly good. We want them to effectively be very hard to resist. And by the way, you can do this with any other spell casting stat. We don't have to do this just with enchantment. Enchantment just happens to be the one that that you can easily get to a really high level. Now, you may be wondering, okay, Brave, why did we pick the alternate favored class bonus? And what's a favored class bonus? Well, favorite class bonus effectively is you pick a favorite class at first level. I'm gonna pick Sorcerer. You can then put a rank, and you can then put a point into hit point, or get an extra hit point or an extra skill rank. Or if your race allows it, take an alternate racial trait, an alternate racial favorite class. Now you may be wondering, okay, Brave, why did we take Kitsune and why did we put it in there? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and show you why Because if we go down here, Sorcerer, we get to add 1/4. Do you know this only happens at 4th level? 1/4 of the DC of enchantment spells. So you make our enchantment spells really stupid. We could also instead use this one, but we're going to choose this one instead. So we're going to make our enchantment spells really good. So we do +1 divided by 4 to the DC of enchantment spells. So this is how we're going to do it. We do get access to simple weapons, which is fine. We don't really need anything else. And our starting wealth is pitiful. It's like 75 gold pieces, 70 gold pieces. So we really can't do anything else with that. We have no access to armor. The only thing that we probably would buy would be like some form of something like that. But we really don't need to worry about equipment, because any of the equipment we buy is really not going to help. So let's look at this. Alrighty. So with all of this, we have a sleep spell that has a DC of 20. Do note, I forgot to actually put it on here, but I need to put this on here. Hang on, let me do that. I just realized that I think my Twitch alerts are not working. My Twitch alerts not working? No, they are. I'm just dumb. Oh, it's over there. So yeah. So that's how I generally do this. We get Eschew materials for free, which just effectively means that Eschew materials just allows us to use any spell that has a material component, as long as it costs 1 GP or less. If it has a value of more than a GP, it will tell you. There aren't really that many that do. Even if like it has a 1 GP cost, it generally does not tell you. Now, do note, this does require us to increase our strength to make our strength 7, increase our dex to 14, con to 14. Now, technically, we could do this, and we could do this, and we can make sure that this is not stupidly low, and then we could put a couple of ranks into that, and then look at that. We have a little bit better of a... And many people will probably say, oh, no, just put it into charisma, put it into wisdom, because it'll increase your will saves. I'm like, I don't really matter. Your will save is actually still going to be good. At later levels, the only character that's probably going to beat you is like a cleric or a druid. And even the paladin could beat you with its will save. But that's neither here nor there. The cleric's going to have the highest will save. The barbarian is probably going to have the highest. Actually, take that back. The barbarian's not going to have the highest fortitude save. The kineticist is likely going to have the highest fortitude save, depending on the type of kineticist. On average. Our CMD is going to be it, pretty much. And our flat-footed CMD is going to be even worse. Now, you may be wondering, what do these mean? It's just flat-footed AC is the same thing as anything else. It's flat-footed AC. So, yeah. Now, you may be wondering, Mage Armor, why would we take Mage Armor over something like Shield? Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this, because Shield is not a reaction spell in this game. I know a lot of you got really used to Shield being a reaction spell. It's not a reaction spell. It's also an abjuration spell. Shield does effectively does the exact same thing as Mage Armor, except it lasts less. It lasts less, and it's a personal use spell. Well, Mage Armor is a touch spell, so you can give Mage Armor to other people, but Shield can only be used on yourself. Shield might actually still be the better option, depending on game, really. But that's not here nor there. Do note that... Okay, I forgot. I needed to go back to this. I need to get the Fey Bloodline. So, we're going to take the Fey Bloodline, which I think in 3.5... Not 3.5. In 5th edition, I think it's known as the Chaos Sorcerer, maybe? I don't remember. I think the Chaos Sorcerer is kind of the one that's Fey-based. Fey work a little bit differently. So we get the Bloodline Arcana, which increases the Compulsion sub-skill by +2, and we get what's known as Laughing Touch, which, in my honest opinion, is one of the few Bloodline powers that I would say is really good. Because even though it is a melee touch spell, or melee touch attack, which is not great. I'm going to be honest. Melee touch attacks as a sorcerer kind of suck. It's really good because it causes a creature to only be able to take a move action, but it can defend itself normally. I'm not 100% certain if this means they can take opportunity attacks. I don't think so, because opportunity attacks are technically free actions. Or they're technically no actions, but yeah, because they're no actions and they don't take up your immediate action. Because your immediate action also takes up your swift action for the next round. It's weird. Pathfinder First Edition has a lot of crunchiness to it, but this is the highest that you can technically get an enchantment spell to have as a DC 20. Now, there are some feats that later down the line could make this extremely broken and extremely later on. DC 20 is really high on a will save based spell like Sleep, which works on most of the creatures you're going to be going up against. Here's the reason why, and I have it right here. So, this is effectively what you need to do. Actually, I'm not even going to look at this. This is not really a good representation. Let's go to Monster Index. Not Monster Index. It's rules. Bestiarity. Monster creation. Scroll down. So, this is how things generally work. I'm going to look at this, and we're going to state that we're going up against an equal CR creature. Its force save is going to be 1, which is likely going to be, I don't know, its will save on average. I think somebody actually did the math on, like, the absolute average. But we're going to assume that the will save is the force save, and the good save is the will save at some point, and we're going to assume that they have a 10 in their wisdom. This is not including anything. This is just assuming this is going up against a creature of equal hit dice, of equal level. That means that a creature needs to roll a 19 or 20. And by the way, in Pathfinder First Edition, a natural 20 is an automatic success on saves and attack rolls, and 1 is an automatic failure on saves and attack rolls. Skill checks are not included in this. They need to roll a natural effectively a natural 19 in order to save. Now, if we're going up against a creature that's CR 1/2, which is actually pretty common, they would need to roll a natural 20. Now, that's assuming that they don't have a high will save or anything like that, but that is the highest that we're able to get a enchantment spell up. Now, later on, at level 17, we can increase that by another 3, because there are some feats. If we take 5 specific feats, which we're going to be feat starved if we do that anyway, then we can make that even higher. And then we'd have access to 8th level spells. So it'd be even stupider. Because we would need to take skill focus and a knowledge, which probably we would take Arcana, because it would just make sense. Put ranks into it. We would take Eldritch Heritage Arcane, take improved Eldritch improved Eldritch Heritage and greater Eldritch Heritage, which then allows us to take the 15th level ability, which is really good. And then we take we'd increase our charisma to frickin' 24. We'd have a headband of charisma that increase it by 6. So we'd be pretty high up there on the DCs. But this is level 1. Level 1 is just easier for me to kind of gauge how high this number is going to go. Do you know that's also min-maxing that build, and that's already 5 feet, because then we take greater spell focus as well. That's already 5 feet down, and we only get like 10. Which, yes, we get a lot of feats. So if I go to rules, I go to core rulebook, and I go to character advancement, we only get 10 feats. So that's already half of our feats gone. And this build technically won't even be done until this level, which is not a good build. Technically, this build would be done at this. It's actually done at this level because the only thing we're taking is we're going to be taking things to increase this build even further. Make this build extremely hyper specialized in enchantment spells. Now, that is technically good, but is there technically any way for us to technically make our charm spells really good? Well, that's where Infernal comes in. Infernal also does charm. Now, is there a way for us to do both at the same time? And there is. Technically, we could take Cross-Blooded. Cross-Blooded would allow us to take this one and this one, so effectively all of our enchantment spells, except for like 3. I don't even think they actually have charm or compulsion in them. So Charm Person would be the only one at first level. And then the only other one is Coward's Cowl, which is just a mind-affecting effect, and it's a will negate, so that's the only one that won't get affected by this. So there's that one, and there's a few other charm spells at later levels. Seducer's Eyes, Gullible Matchmaker. I think Charm happens to also be in more spell schools. Oh no, there's only like this. There's not a lot of charm spells. I think there's a charm spell for every level though. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Not ninth. There is no charm spell for ninth, but that doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go and state this. Infernal Bloodline, this is really underpowered. Compared to Phase, which is really powerful, this one is probably the most underpowered. It's just because there's not a lot of charm spells in the game. So this doesn't affect nearly all the ones that you want to use anyway. Like, Fae actually does things like Dominate Monster and all that. So if we do that and we go to 9th, look at that! Let's just dominate a monster, have them be controlled by you instead for up to 20 days. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun, isn't it? Although protection does help you with this. But if you play a true neutral character, protection doesn't work. And that's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that a true neutral character... alignment actually matters in this game too. So you would actually do the true neutral thing, and it would actually be useful. This character also doesn't really need a high strength score, so we could probably get away with not really having a high strength score. So yeah, and you could also increase your charisma by 5. If you get a book of charisma, it goes up to 30. You can get the highest level 1, and then you're at 36 with the headband plus 6, which isn't bad. It's not bad. It's also not really great either. And shield is also better for most games. Do note, you will also get way more spells than this. Like, it just sucks that you get 2 spells at first level, and then second level, you just get an extra cantrip. So, third level is when you start getting more first level spells, and you don't get second level spells till 4th level. So, do remember, you don't get that many spells. Unlike the wizard, who gets wizards, clerics, and druids get spells get second level spells at 3rd level. Sorcerers and oracles get second level spells at 4th level, and bards don't get second level spells until like 6th level. So, yeah. Also, paladins and rangers don't get first level spells till like level 4, so they don't get like second level spells until like level 10 or 8, something like that. If I actually looked it up. But yeah, that's what I would do. And also, that actually also means that Daze actually has a DC of 19. Which at first level is really good. That's a really good DC. Mainly because, yes, and I could go look it up, but I believe it's 10 plus... I guess it could be 14 is the highest that you could get it to. I keep forgetting that you can technically get it to 17 in first stat. Which is technically 14. But for me, it just seems so low that I would be like, why? There's also Overwhelming Presence, which is also really good because It is a mind affecting effect. It is an emotion effect, and it's really good 9th level spell. I find it funny that psychics get fucking 4th level, but we won't go there. Well, every other class gets it at fucking much higher levels, but we won't go there. But yeah, that's how you can make enchantment spells really good. And if you went all the way up to 20th level, you can technically have your enchantment spells be like DC 36 or something like that, which is really high. But by level 20, many creatures are really just immune to mind affecting effects. And if you somehow kept that true neutral alignment without like your alignment shifting, because your alignment can shift. The GM can technically state when your alignment shifts. Probably would be more shifted towards the chaotic side, depending on how you do things. Well, yeah. Now, a lot of people will probably also say that technically you probably shouldn't take sleep and shield, and you probably should just take offensive spells. Like, instead of taking sleep, just take magic missile. Because at least you get 5 of them per day, or 4 of them, or something like that. What's the minimum you get? 3. So you get 3 of them per day, while a wizard only gets 1 or 2. 1 first level spell per day. So yeah. So technically, sorcerers kind of work like 5th edition, where you get spell slots, and then you can just cast a spell that you know and with that spell slot. But yeah, there are also other feats that you could take that would be beneficial to you, that would make this build even better. There are creatures that are immune to mind-affecting effects. I think the only one you cannot overcome is constructs, and they are oozes. Oozes are immune. Unintelligent oozes are immune. Unintelligent vermin are immune. Undead are immune, and constructs. Unintelligent constructs, I think, are immune. I think if a construct gets an intelligence score, it becomes no longer immune to mind-affecting effects. Which effectively just means it's no longer immune to, like, dominate monster, I think. I'd have to look this up. Hang on, let me look this up. Types. Construct. Immune. I think I need to look at awakened construct, which technically would tell me if that gets rid of its immunity. Because I think in the vermin stat block it specifically states no intelligence score immunity, all mind affecting effects. A vermin, a creature with intelligence, usually either an animal or a magical beast, depending on its other abilities. Yeah. But yeah, all undead are immune to mind-affecting effects. They're also immune to a whole bunch of other stuff. Oozes are just flat-out mindless. No intelligence score and immunity to all mind-affecting effects. And an ooze with an intelligence score loses this trait. The ooze is actually the only one that states that. Constructs are just immune to all mind-affecting effects. And they generally don't have an intelligence score. Generally. Also, they have no constitution score, and any DCs are assumed to have a 10 in their constitution. Constructs die when they hit the 0 hit points. This is the same with undead. But constructs, I think awakened states. Spells, wizard, F, awakened. Construct. Speech one of the on the jam. This spell does not function on combat with an intelligence score. Okay, so, yeah. This also takes 24 hours to cast, and is not available in normal play, so we shouldn't even be looking at that. But it seems that there are two specific type of creatures that are straight up immune to immune to it. But there are some feats that can actually help us out here. There's also plants. Plants are also immune, so we'll go ahead and look at some meta magic real quick. Meta magic! So there are a few spells, a few meta magic feats that can actually help us. Coaxing is very useful against oozes and vermin, which actually allows us to use that. We just need a dungeoneering a knowledge ranks of 6 in dungeoneering. Cool. There's also another one that is Thanatopic. Nope. It's Threnodic, which allows us to change a mind-affecting spell so it can affect undead but not living creatures. It does require spell-focused necromancy and knowledge religion 6 ranks. So, not great. Could be useful. And then there's also Verdant, which allows us to affect plants. So the only one we cannot affect is constructs, which, if you're going up against constructs, you're likely going to already be not great at fighting them anyway. That's why you've got a cantrip. So yeah. I don't think there's any way of actually even getting excuse me. Even getting access to constructs. But yeah. But there is also some things that we don't need. Threnodic does require us to have spell focus, and we need knowledge religion and knowledge nature. So that's a lot of skills to be asking for our level 1 character to be putting a lot of ranks into. I mean, we need nature, religion, and dungeoneering. Oh my god, we're not even gonna have any skill ranks left over. We're gonna have to wait till like level 9, 10, 11, 12 in order to get those feats. We don't really need to. There are magic items that are very useful. They're known as rods. They're known as meta magic rods. I'm just going to make sure that we actually can grab them because I have never actually checked to see if we could. But it would make sense that they do exist. Yeah. Threnodic, which allows us to cast the Threnodic spell up to 3 times per day. And there's probably ones for coaxing, and there's ones for the other one as well. So we can just grab those and we can use them as if we had the feat without any prerequisites 3 times per day. So that's useful. So getting those types of spells is probably going to be a useful thing. Or getting those rods. Asking your GM for those rods would not be something that would be too hampering. And honestly, your GM should be looking up some things to give your players. Don't just assume. Is coaxing not in here? Am I spelling it incorrectly? Probably I'm spelling it incorrectly. Oh, actually, can we not pick up? It's Threnodic that we can pick up, but we can't pick up the other ones because the other ones don't exist. Huh, so Threnodic exists, but things like coaxing and actually is it Verdant? Yeah, let's see if Verdant and Verdant don't exist. Okay, so we could technically just put ranks in a knowledge nature and knowledge dungeoneering. Since we have to take spell focus enchantment anyway, it's not too big of a deal. And putting 6 ranks into it isn't actually too bad of a deal. Because we're taking this spell anyway, and putting 6 ranks into these is not going to be bad. We can fit them in. So those would be nice spells. Now we could also fit in heightened spell, which in my honest opinion is probably going to be a requirement for this one, for these, which just means that we can apply heightened spell to anything and we can use any spell slot to cast our spells now. Which means we can even cast some of our lower level compulsion spells to use the highest level DC. Other spells that we probably would want to be using is like piercing spell, persistent spell, quicken spell is always a good one. Still and silent are also good options. So yeah, there are some really good ones here. Verdant. 2 slots higher. Does Threnodic also do 2 slots higher? Yeah, you also use this up 2 slots higher. Even mine was something. like they were as melted on creatures. The spell slot 2 levels higher than the spell type. Now, there is also the one thing that's useful about rods is that technically the character cannot use a 9th level spell to cast a meta magic feat because you don't have any 10th level or higher spell slots. But with a rod, you can still cast a spell with a 9th level spell slot through something like Vernotic, which technically means you could cast something like Dominate Monster on an undead. Even though there's a spell that's already does that. I think it's a necromancy spell. Let's see. I think it's Command Undead. But this is also assuming that we're just sticking to enchantment spells and we're not going for anything else. I think it's just Command Undead. Control Undead. Which works for 20 minutes over the day instead of the days, but there's also Command Undead. Isn't there Command Undead? Yeah, there it is. Which also does the same thing, and it's much lower level, and it's a necromancy spell. And if they're mindless, they don't get a saving throw. But we'll be back. Alrighty, welcome back everybody. We're gonna go ahead and get to an actual game today. We're gonna actually go ahead and I'm gonna continue playing some Hollownest. I haven't played this in a couple days, so hopefully the brain has reset for it. We shall see. music. So, back to Hollow Knight. Here's the Godmaster DLC. Hollow Knight. Pantheon of Hollownest. Pantheon of Hollownest. Save. Alrighty. Let's get this over with. It is that one. Okay. Alrighty. Nope. Begin. Oh, hang on. I forgot to make sure that's up. Damn it. There we go. Okay. Now. Do note, if I actually do beat Pantheon of Hollownest at some point, I will just move on to Silksong. Because I have the game installed. I've just been kind of waiting to play it. Because I kind of want to... You know. There we go. I just really don't have the patience to do the bindings, honestly. Brooding Malek. Okay. Alrighty. First one done. No, I actually want Dashmaster on. Even though I'll be moving slightly slow. There we go. Okay. Godmaster defeated. Oh, I just realized that the Sisters of Battle hit you. They do 2 damage, I think. I think they hit you with the down. Now back to the normal Mantis in these fights, effectively. Now. Okay, Sisters of Battle defeated again. I'll go for the win. Keep forgetting I don't need to move right. I don't need to move whenever I swing now. I can just sit there and... wail. Ow. Ow. I do sit there and take hits a lot, so that is something I gotta get over again. Godmaster Shio. There we go. All right. Ow. There we go. The Collector. God Tamer defeated. Oh, I forgot we're actually gonna heal after this. There we go. Hello, Nosk. Ow. know. Okay. Time for Hornet 2. Okay, Hornet defeated. Actually, I think this one I should have taken the normal route, the Sprint Master. Oh my god. There we go. There we go. White defender defeated. Okay. Come on. Dang it.
Well, mine.
There we go. Okay. got close. There we go. Okay. Next. I messed that up. Alrighty. Oh, dang it. I got too caught up in doing and not paying attention on my health gauge. Whoops! Gorb. Ow. Gorb defeated. There we go. Okay. Well, let's not be stupid and actually get ourselves killed again. Ow. Let's not be stupid this time. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Broken vessel. Okay.
Vamos, fenelo.
Okay. Okay. Plug your defeated. Yeah, breaks it. Let's not. Oh, that was close. Alrighty. Okay. Okay. Want it done. Hey, Uber Awesome, how you doing? You're actually off today? Thought you want to be off since it's Friday. Yeah. Yeah, crud. Yeah. Oh, you're always... I keep forgetting you're off on Fridays. I just remember you working during the weekdays, that's all. Ow. Oh, come on. Oh my god. Thank you. Ah. Gotcha. Nice. I honestly have not been playing it as much as I should, which is just my fault. I really need to start. I really need to play Fire Red more. There we go. I just haven't had time, really. Work's been kind of holding me back, and then I've got to make sure I start playing today since we played Sunday. Yeah. For me, it's mostly been work. Wait, baby. Shit. Damn it. What I'm doing this weekend? Working. I got work this weekend. So. Sadly, I gotta work. I think I gotta work Sunday. I'm not 100% certain. I'll know more tomorrow. Because I know I'm off today, but I can't remember if I'm off Sunday or not. So. Fuck. I hate you, Soul Tyrant. Too many teleporting bosses. And it's really just 2 of them. Ow. Ow. Yeah. Fuck. Fully healed. Right before my Ow. Ow. Come on. Come on. I need to start using that for Mark. I really need to start using spells for Markov. Yeah. Ah, crap. Forgot about Zoe. Okay, let's not get hit. Let's not get hit by Zoe. Okay. So defeated. Self-care. Okay, now to the fight that I keep dying on. And I actually don't have full health either, so this is gonna be a fun one. Shit. Ow! Yeah, they did. God dang. What the heck? Something go off. Sensor? Oh, I actually didn't realize I didn't get hit. Whoops. Gorb! Nice. Good luck. Not gonna lie, good luck with that. Hopefully you'll actually get it, because... Ow. There we go. Oh, okay. So that's actually a good one, since it's work from home. I honestly wouldn't mind it either if I could get a work from home one. I'm not gonna lie, I actually would prefer a work from home job at some point, but we'll see. Nice. Malek defeated.
Yes,
Godmaster Moro. Moro Mato. Ow. Nah, it's fine. Honestly, I don't mind the job that I have now, so it won't be too bad. Besides, I want to give it a little bit more time, because pretty soon I'm hoping that... I was really hoping that by now I'd have a consistent schedule, but it's still kind of up in the air. And if I... The main issue is that I'm very out of practice with coding, so I really need to go... God, fuck. I really need to get back into it. Oh, God fucking damn it. Come on. This one I really need to use. Ow. There we go. I really need to use that one for this fight, because honestly, that fight is a pain in the ass to nail only. No, because there's actually a lot of stuff that I've been trying to. I need to get back into coding again. Maybe we'll get back. Maybe I'll actually go to a coding stream today. I'll do some coding today. I might take a break and then come back after I grab something to eat because. There we go. Dang it, I walked right into that one. God damn it. Ugh. God, fuck. Why am I doing stupid things again? I'm doing stupid things, which is annoying. Massive moss charger defeated. Soul Warrior defeated. Oh, come on.
Yes, Finna.
Alright.
Yes, whoa.
There we go. Okay. Soul Master defeated. Okay. Okay, one down. Back to the normal Mantis in this fight. What am I doing? We get to rest at this next one, this next spot. Okay. Alrighty.
Yes. Bam. Final.
Okay. Mr. Shio defeated. Hive Knight. Okay, the collector defeated. Okay. Didn't know how many hits I had left. Next rest won't be until after Hornet. Okay. Nobody defeated. Nosk defeated. Hornet defeated. Never know. Okay. It's the fastest snow ice fight I've actually had in a little while. Trader Lord defeated. White Defender. Oh, wow. I actually got over phase 2 for him to yell. Usually I don't get over phase 2's yell. Soul Tyrant. Soul Tyrant defeated. There we go. You've got to be shitting me. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go through these and I'm gonna Fuck the no charms. I guess I technically can overcharm in this state. There we go. There we go.
Eh? Yes.
There we go.
Finner.
Same thing.
Yes, oh, got yes, it's up. It's up. It's up. It's up. It's up. Got it's up.
Damn it. This one might be, I'm gonna only be able to do Nail and Soul, I think.
Yes, oh, suck. It's up.
Wait a minute.
Suck.
God fucking damn it.
Yes, whoa. It's up. Suck. Oh, wait. Yeah, got him. Whoop. Oh, go back. Whoop. Whoop. Oh, da. Suck. It's up. Whoop. Oh, wait. Whoop. Oh, da. Oh, da. Oh, wait. Oh, da. Yeah, got him. Suck. It's up. Oh, da. Oh, go back. Oh, da.
Okay. Okay. Come on. That is bull. Damn it. I'll be right back.